Welcome to the Charlie's Cavalry Coaches Show. I'm your host, John Moses. Later in today's show, we'll talk men's basketball with head coach Ted O'Taling and honor our student athlete of the week. But for now, we meet the new baseball coach here at the University of New Haven, head coach Chris Solano. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Hey, John, thanks for having me.
Well, for the folks at home just meeting you for the first time, tell us a little bit about your background and how you came to coach here at New Haven.
I was the head coach at Dowling College on Long Island for the last 7 years. I was an assistant there for the 3 prior, and right about the end of last year, when I saw there was an opening here, started the conversations with the administration, and by August 1st, I was in my office.
Well, you're just the third coach in the history of New Haven Chargers baseball. What does that history and winning tradition mean to you?
I thought, especially coming into a program that had someone like Coach Vieira for 40-plus years, can be a little intimidating at first, when you think about it, and then the good job that Raf Serrato did for the 6 years he was here. For me, it was just another challenge to, make my name at a different program. So.
Well, the Chargers return a fair amount of talent on the pitching staff. What have you observed about the current guys in the program, and who do you think is going to be a part of your starting rotation?
In terms of pitching, I feel like we've got a number of candidates for those top 4 to 5 spots. The way our conference schedule breaks out now, you do need 4 no matter what, but you can go to a 5th guy because you're going to play a conference opponent every Wednesday, and you may not want to show them the same guy all 3 Wednesdays in a row. So we probably will go with 5, some combination of 5. I think there are a couple names in the mix there. Some guys with experience like Mike Aquilino, Taylor Candage is another candidate, Frank Valacha, Henry Hirsch is another one. And that 5th spot, I think is still, we're in the middle of figuring it out, but I think there's a lot of good candidates for it.
Yeah, and you didn't even mention 2 guys that had pretty big roles last year. John Melville soaked up a lot of innings out of the bullpen, and Pat Simone had a very nice freshman year.
Yep, I fully expect one of those 2 to definitely step up, and even both to have major roles for us. I think the first couple of games and then going through Florida will definitely determine, what we do for the conference schedule.
Well, Taylor Candage really emerged as a late inning option for last year's team. In the 8th inning, he really had the stuff to get it done. Do you think you're going to use him in the closer's role, and how do you like to handle the 8th and 9th innings of games?
Right now, I see him more of a long inning guy, whether that's starting, whether that's somewhere in between, and not so much on the back end. I feel like he can give us some length, especially if it's innings 1 through 7. I feel like he can carry that load. I also feel like with his experience, it makes him a good candidate, in our rotation if that's where he ends up. I like to play the 8th and 9th inning a lot of the times by going with the hot hand. If we have a guy that we've had out there multiple times, and there's a game where he may be a right-handed pitcher facing a left-handed hitter, I'm okay with that. Because if a guy is throwing well and getting guys out, to me the right-left matchup isn't as important. It's at our level.
Well, in years past, New Haven has been known for a lot of small ball and slap hitting. What type of approach do you like to stress to your hitters?
I think with the wood bat, that you have to have that to a certain degree. And we need to bunt, we need to hit and run, we need to move runners and have more productive outs, because the days of guys hitting 20 home runs is usually gone, because of the wood. It neutralizes that. So we are going to have a little bit of that, but I also think that our approach is going to be stay in the middle of the field, gap to gap, and when you get pitches you can turn on and pull, and when you get pitches you could drive the other way, we will.
Well, with the graduation of Tom Rombolus at third base, the Chargers are posed with an opening at third for the first time in 4 years. Who do you anticipate soaking up those innings at third?
I think there's a combination of a couple candidates. I think that Zach Collette is a freshman from Maine that we have, I think could figure in there. Brendan Buckley is a returning player that I think could log innings over there, as well as Corey Carr, who's a senior, who I could see playing at either corner spot for us. So I think it'll be kind of a dogfight between those 3 guys. And I think they'll figure, it comes out in the wash as further you go in the season. But I think one of the 3 will end up there.
Well, you're confronted with a similar situation behind the plate with Shane O'Connell leaving the program. Who do you envision catching this year, and who have you seen the most improvement from of the current guys you have?
I think both. Actually, I think both Joe Romanelli. I think first and foremost, I think he's come a long way. Not having to play as many innings over the last 2 years for him I think would be a challenge for him this year to kind of hold the load for us. I think Jason Lewicki's also come a long way too. So I think it'll be a combination of the both. With the clear front runner not really established yet, to be honest with you. But I think both of them will be able to help us there.
Well, I happen to think you have one of the better defensive outfielders in the conference in Jack Heary playing center field. Talk a little about what you've observed of Jack and his approach to the game.
I think Jack is one of the best I've seen in terms of defense in center field. I think he's very athletic. He has a nose for the ball, and he's not afraid to run through the wall, literally sometimes. I think having that is such a comfort because we know he'll cover a lot of ground in the middle of the field, which we can afford to have less of range in left field and less in right field. And having him is a big security blanket defensively, for sure.
Well, it absolutely is, and you have a number of options in the outfield with David Workus, Stephen Clout, Kyle Petteruto, Jordan Kershaw still here. Who do you think will spend the most time in the corner spots this year?
I've seen a huge improvement in Workus. I think he is working his way into what could be an everyday role. I see Stephen Clout as kind of doing the same, but at the same time, I think the other two guys you mentioned could easily do the same. So we have a lot of good problems, in my opinion, in a lot of areas, and the outfield is definitely one of them.
Well, leadership is one of those really important things that you need on a team. Who have you observed to be the leaders on this group?
I think Ryan Brockett, our shortstop, is a very good leader. I think he does it a lot by example, which is important, and not just talking the talk. But I also think Eric Peck, who's one of our senior pitchers, has also been very good. But there have been a number of guys who are not seniors who have also taken on a leadership role, which I think a team needs that to be successful no matter what.
Well, now that you've had time to observe and evaluate what's here in the current program, what are some of your expectations for this season?
I expect us to compete right away. I think we have enough, not only positionally, I think we have enough on the mound, which ultimately I think it all funnels through the pitcher's mound. If we pitch and we have depth there, which I think we do, we should be in it. I know the conference is very, very tough. I know the region is very tough, being familiar with it. But I expect us to be, in the thick of things throughout the season, no matter what.
Yeah, you're very familiar with the region, having coached at Dowling for the last 7 years, as you mentioned. Picked 10th in the region. What teams do you think are going to be the best in the East region this year?
Well, I think the traditional strong, 3 to 4 between Franklin Pierce, Southern Connecticut, UMass Lowell. Now Lemoyne coming in, I think, adds a whole other dimension to the entire conference as well as the region. I think they'll be good right away. And I see us figuring in to that mix. 1 through 10, I think, could be a combination of any of the teams that were there preseason, no matter what.
Well, Coach, thanks so much for your time. Good luck, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, John. Appreciate it.
On the other side of this break, we'll honor our Student Athlete of the Week. This is the Charlie's Cavalry Coaches Show. Welcome back to the Charlie's Cavalry Coaches Show. I'm your host, John Moses. Now to honor the Student Athlete of the Week, men's track and field jumper Matt June. The sophomore from West Haven, Connecticut, helped lead the Chargers to a 5th place finish at the 2012 Northeast 10 Conference Indoor Track and Field Championship. June won the high jump with a new meet record of 2.2 meters. The height of over 7 feet automatically qualified him for the NCAA Division II National Championship in March. Earlier this week, I took a visit to practice and caught up with Matt as he prepared for the team's upcoming meet. I'm joined now by our Student Athlete of the Week, jumper Matt June. So Matt, when did you start jumping, and when did you know you were really good at it?
I started jumping my sophomore year in high school, and I figured out I was pretty good at it my junior year when I went all state indoor and then outdoor again, and then figured out I was really, really good when in my senior year when I went All-American.
Well, in your most recent event, you set the Northeast 10 record with a height of 2.2 meters in the high jump. Take us through what that experience was like.
It felt great to go over 7 feet 2 inches and a half. It felt even better to set the record and to beat one of my rivals. So it was a good experience, and I hope to do better the rest of the season.
Well, this season you improved your mark in the high jump in almost every meet. What do you attribute your success to this year?
I'd have to say it all goes to my coach, Coach Williams. She helps me out a lot. She helps me know what I got to do to get over her height, if it's my timing or if it's my approach. But she helps me through it all. She gets me mentally focused and prepared for everything.
Well, with your performance this year in the Northeast 10 Championships, UNH is now 25th in the USTF CCCA National Poll. What does it mean to you to be part of a top 25 program in Division II?
It feels great, to be a part of that, just to know that I'm a piece of top 25, and that's great.
Well, Matt, you do both the high jump and the long jump. Which do you enjoy more and why?
I enjoy both events, but definitely high jump. It's just because I've been more passionate about high jump than long jump, and I'm so good at it that I have to like it more. It's a given.
Well, totally. I mean, if you're good at it, you love it, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, Matt, what do you do to get prepared for a meet mentally?
I listen to music and just have a game plan set for what I'm going to go and what I'm going to do. So I just pretty much focus in and think about what I got to do to win and what the winning height is and what I'm seeded and what I got to do. That's about it.
Well, Matt, congratulations on all your success this season. Good luck the rest of the way and in the outdoor season.
All right, thank you.
Our episode 4 Student Athlete of the Week, Matt June. On the other side of this break, we'll talk men's basketball with head coach Ted O'Taling. This is the Charlie's Cavalry Coaches Show.